Hello, hello, welcome back. Today we have ourselves Marneus Calgar from the 40k X MTG structure decks. Uh, so, so, as you can tell, this is not a Surge foil. I'm not too interested in getting a Surge foil of Marneus. The price is just a little bit too ridiculous. I have a Surge foil on me, so let's see. If you didn't already see what these things look like, they look like this. It kind of looks like a foil of acetone damage. So I guess in that regard, you could just acetone damage your Marneus or any of your Warhammer regular foil cards to get that look. Kind of looks like it kind of looks like early like Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64 graphics with water graphics, if that makes sense. Looks like water in Nintendo 64 games. Donkey Kong underwater levels. Okay. So, Marneus, very, very strong mad lad. For 2 and esper, you want to land him. He has double strike, and he has a nice passive ability. I think a very, very nice passive ability, where if there's an instance of a token ETBing under your control, draw a card. And for 6, you create 2 like tokens, two Astartes Warrior tokens. Make sure you put a 2 on that Lily token. And of course, whenever you pay the 6, you create the 2. That one instance will draw a card. So if Marneus is on board, and you have just the right cards, well then, you get some nice passive value. And so the game plan I have in mind is, of course, to use a infinite colors mana engine, but also just play like a long game where, I don't know, I play boring, sculpt my hand, and find a win, right? He could win per se through a rule of law. So if your opponent's just on that, which as of the making of this video, the metagame is still very much on rule of law effects. So we'll get through. We'll talk about that as we come across these cards. So where does he shine? Well, you want to play with your miniature until you find where the light hits it the best, and then you want to be able to highlight that like that until you find where the miniature fits. Let's get into the deck tech. You have our token. I like these die-cast tokens more, so these are just my generic tokens for everything. So we're gonna, like I said, try to find an infinite mana engine. I don't have all of them in this deck, like a Bomberman combo. I don't have ISO Rev combo. As a matter of fact, I'm not 100% crazy with this combo. All right, if you didn't already know Hullbreaker combos, you just have like mana positive rocks and just bouncy bounce them until you could make infinite mana of that particular color. A little bit cheaper to cast than a Tidespout Tyrant, which is why suddenly you see Hullbreakers in a lot of decks where he's just kind of like a copy of like a cheaper copy of Tidespout, but whatever. So I will have like the Grim Monolith. Oh, I don't know how long you guys been following my videos, but I put a little fund together for a Grim Monolith to pick one up by the end of this year, a foil one, something that's been on my wish list for a long time until like the price just like skyrocketed. But since Grim Monolith sees a fewer and fewer play, I'm actually going to use my little Grim Monolith fund for something special, something recent, something very, very recent that came out. We're in October, wink, wink. So something very, very recent that came out, if you could figure that out. But we have a Grim Monolith and Basalt Monolith, and either one of these things, a power artifact could be slapped onto either one of these things to create infinite colorless mana. What's cool about this combo that I had a dust off is that either one of these can be played on its own, so it's not a dead brick. Just this is the more brick card. Like this doesn't work with anything else except for these things for the most part. And so if you find this before you find this, not so good. So, but we're playing a passive game, trying just to land Marneus. He just sits there, gets in, draws cards, easy peasy. And that's it. Those are the infinite mana engines. Hullbreaker loops and power artifact on a Grim / Basalt. We have Thassa's Oracle because we're in these colors. Very easy to just run a Thassa's Oracle, right? We have a Blacked Out Consultation. I just wanted to do something unusual with my consult. And Tainted Pack in our back pocket. You know how it goes. Praetor's Grasp. I talk about this card all the time. It can be like a spare Thassa's Oracle from your opponent. It could be a Underworld Breach from an opponent, right? So I could do Underworld bullshit in this deck. And so with that said, I might actually try to squeeze in the Bomberman combo, because if there is a high chance of me using this as an Underworld Breach, if there's a chance of me using this as an Underworld Breach, then I want to get some value with a Lion's Eye Diamond, right? Breach loops are a little bit difficult to do if you don't have Dockside, if you don't have like a Wheel of Fortune, if you don't have Gamble, if you don't have LED. So, and since we're not in red, we don't have any of that. So I might as well try to get some versatility out of a Lion's Eye Diamond. Our rituals, we don't have all the rituals. Again, this is a little bit slower deck. So we only have the Dark Ritual and the Cabal Ritual. And just like that, we don't have space in this deck for like a Reign of Filth or a Call in the Week. It's something that I have to keep my eye out for. See if when those cards would fit. But as of right now, I don't have those two rituals in the deck. I don't have cantrips in the deck the way I used to. Cantrips have kind of just faded out of the spotlight as of late 2022. I think the game's a little too fast. Rule of laws everywhere. It's not good to, under a rule of law to play a cantrip and pass, if that makes sense. So we only have the Wheel of Windfall and a Time Twister. We do have the Ad Nauseam. Ad Nauseam, not as strong anymore, if you could believe it. A lot of mid-range games, and so if you can't, the game has, the metagame has developed into, has had so much hate for Turbo Naws that it's kind of just developed into this mid-game stacksy monstrosity that I'm not feeling. So, Addos doesn't get as much value the longer the game goes, but that's fine. PETA, still really, really good card. Our Tutor's Package. We have the Enlightened Tutor. There are a lot of juicy enchantments in this deck that we'll see soon enough. And then, of course, I could just grab the Grim or the Basalt if I get stuck with the power. Nothing in this deck. There's no real big rush to do anything in this deck. I guess this could be like a fan favorite for a lot of people because he's very passive. Marneus, as long as you I think the name of the game is just to land Marneus, sculpt a hand, eat utility from your opponents, right? As they realize you're getting a lot of value from Marneus, and then go off. Our Tutor's Pack, we have the Alliance Tutor. We have the full suite, matching suite, Mystical Tutor, and the Vampiric Tutor. We have Imperial Seal, a Demonic Tutor, and shame on me, I don't know why I wasn't playing with Limdal's Vault enough in Dimir X decks. A lot of times they say, like, you just need the other half of your combo, right? A Tainted Pact. So in a lot of regards, Limdal's Vault is like a bad Tainted Pact when you're using the Tainted Pact to get the other half of a combo. If you have luck like mine, the other card you're looking for is at the bottom of your library, so you're going to probably pay 10 life. A Yawgmoth's Will, just to recur some value with some lost pieces. Maybe you lose a Thassa's Oracle in your graveyard, which is fine. You still win the game, just like that. Our removal package. I'm actually missing some cards that I would love to have in my removal package. It's in the mail, but just there'll be a link to this deck list in the description. So if you want to see how this deck changes over the months, over the years, then just click the Moxfield link. This is probably the deck I'm going to run this weekend, among my sweaty pods. So there'll probably be a lot of changes made to the build. But we have Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile. This resculpt should be a Vanishing Verse. I have a Vanishing Verse in the mail. I had a Vanishing Verse, never ever played it. We were in a Turbonaws, and so we're in Turbonaws, and I don't think Esper Sentinel existed yet when I finally got rid of my Vanishing Verse. Right? Modern Horizons 2. My memory's fuzzy. Anyway, the point is, white was still in a time of the game where white wasn't like a really important color. It was like usually the least represented color in the deck. So when you have like a Orzhov instant speed removal, at the time, Winds of Rebuke is better. Don't get rid of your cards if you don't need to. But anyway, so this should be a Vanishing Verse. Chain of Vapor, very, very simple card. Chain of Vapor is such a beautifully designed card. It's won me so many games. Like I said, the turn you're ready to go off, just get rid of the really obnoxious piece of removal. Get rid of the obnoxious piece of hate on the board, the thing that's stopping you from going off. Maybe you get lucky and your opponent will try to retaliate, and so they do it back to you, which is fucking fantastic because you just do it and to someone else get a second piece of stacks or hate bear off the board. which is really, really good. This has happened to me many, many times, where my one Chain of Vapor was able to get rid of like 2 annoying cards, and then I just go off. Cyclonic Rift. You know, Toxic Deluge. I would really love to tech like a Winds of Abandon in this deck, so that's another card I'll keep an eye out. I don't give 2 fucks about like the overload and making my opponent go plus. In sweaty games, you know, black decks have a Tainted Pact, where you don't have to worry about too many basics. I don't know. I don't care about the pluses. I think the benefit, the one-sided board wipe, outweighs the pluses that your opponents would get. We have March of Swirling Mist, a really, really, really good card. Please, please, everybody, pick up your March of Swirling Mists. Please. It's such a phenomenal card. I can use it as a soft counter, per se, or just as a cheap way to get rid of many hate bears, so I can go off. It's just an amazing card. And in a deck like Marneus, it can help protect my Marneus. Just phase him away. They go hard with trying to remove him because I'm just accruing so much value, and you know, just phase him away. And so with that said, I also have Slip Out the Back. That's what she said. And yeah, just one, you know, you can just get rid of the annoying hate bear that's keeping you from going off, or just protect Marneus. Which leads us into our counters. Starting us off with more soft counters. We have a Silence, Simple Pimples. The turn you're ready to go off, just silence the board, and you're uncontested. Mental Misstep, Dispel, Blue Stir-Storm, An Offer You Can't Refuse, Swan Song. And we have, since we're playing like a long mid-rangey game, we need the Omni counters. So we have Delay, and we have Mana Drain. Mana Drain is really good in a deck like this, where you know that Mana Drain mana could help to pay for a Marneus trigger, or it could just help to land like a Marneus in general. What is he, 6? No, he's 2. He's 2 in Esper. But whatever, there's lots to do. We have plenty of 2 CMC rocks, Mana Vault, Green Monolith, Basalt Monolith, untaps, right? A lot to do with Mana Drain mana. Fierce Guardianship, we're trying to land our commander, so Force of Negation, I gotta upgrade this soon. That's not what I'm gonna use my Grim Monolith fund for. Pact of Negation and a Force of Will. Moving along to our creatures package, we have a Ranger, Cavern of Eos. And then I think the only one drop in this deck, we have an Esper Sentinel. Now, is Ranger worth running with just the one single CMC target? Yes, yes. The Ranger is so versatile. I could just keep my opponent from going off, or just silence the board before I go off. Esper Sentinel. To be honest, I don't get a super ton of value from an Esper Sentinel in mid-game. I have bad luck. I never get to land early Esper Sentinels, so opponents pay for that. But as we'll see, we're going to punish opponents for just playing cards. We're just going to punish opponents for playing cards. We have a Ledger Shredder. Just don't be an amateur. Keep track of your own storm count for Ledger Shredder. Archivist of Ugma. Notion Thief. We could play a thick boy like this because, like I said, we're playing a slower game. Opposition Agent. Drannith Magistrate. Daunty Voidwalker. Gilded Drake. And a Grand Abolisher, just so I can like take my time. Right? I'm getting old now, so my brain don't work so good anymore. And so when it's my turn, since I have other things on my mind, I can't really plan out what I'm going to do on my turn. I'm just kidding. But yeah, Grand Abolisher's phenomenal card. He's, you know, a 2/2 for 2. Is he worth playing in a deck like this? Yeah. Because if I can land the Abolisher, people know how annoying it is when the turn comes back to me. So there's that. Now, I want to get passive value from Marneus. I want to get those Marneus draw triggers. The 6 CMC activated ability is cute and all, but I just want to get passive value. I want to bring, draw a card, bring, draw a card, bring, draw a card. So we're going to run a Grim Hireling because he doubles as like really bad spot removal, but the treasures that he will spam draw me cards. So now I have cards in hand and mana to spend them, and mana to spend on said cards. You can't ask for more. And so with that in mind, we're going to get a lot of passive value from the Marneus. I was contemplating maybe running like a training ground in this deck. It just reduces the cost by 2. And I'm still playing at instant speed. So 4 CMC, if I land the training ground. It's just, I understand that you get 2 Astartes tokens. I don't know. Maybe I take out the whole breaker and run a training ground instead. I don't know yet. I gotta goldfish this deck a little bit. Now, the passive value we're talking about, we're gonna run a Ophiomancer. Tuna, what do you mean? You don't want to pay training ground 4 CMC to get 2 Astartes thick boys with vigilance, but you rather just like play Ophiomancer to get a 1/1 with Death Touch? You think that's good? Well, yeah, I think it's good. Because we have a blocker, right? A Death Touch blocker. A lot of people don't want to fuck with something like that, and so maybe the turn will pass, and then the opponent right before me, I'll have no snake tokens, so I'll get another token, ergo I'll get another draw. So I like Ophiomancer. And to be honest, like I'm feeling Ophiomancer in this deck so much, I might even pick up a Bramaz. Now, like a Monastery Mentor, I'm not so sure about. I don't own a Monastery. I don't own a Bramaz, but don't be me. Don't buy like a premier version of these cards before playtesting. Maybe over the weekend I'll make a little Bramaz and Monastery Mentor token, a proxy, and just test it out. But I think these cards are interesting in a deck like this. You could play a very passive game. If people want to be on Rule of Law and swing with, hate bears, I'm going to do that too. Except for my hate bears are like of no consequence if I lose them. And I got like Death Touch and Vigilance, and they just keep coming and coming. Let's move on to the rest of the deck. We have Ristic Study, right? Staple, blue staple, Mystic Remora. We have Exchange Wards. A lot of people in the forums, they don't know how to feel about Exchange Wards, but I think they're all stupid. Exchange of Words is like a bad Gilded Drake, right? I could turn my opponent's Winota into a mana dork. I could turn their Malcolm that's getting a lot of value into a zombie token, right? Nothing text box. I don't know, but for the 1 extra blue CMC, I think it's a must. I've been buying whenever I see these Galaxy Foil Exchange of Words on the market for like $3, I buy them all out. I buy them all out because the exchange of words, $3 Galaxy foil, that's very, very underpriced in my opinion. And I think at some point every blue deck is going to be running exchange of words. So wherever I see them and they're $3, I buy them up. Exchange of words is very, 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 very amazing card. And in fact, if you're like in Kiki Jiki combos, I think there's a way to like to make those combos more streamlined by running like an exchange of words. Right? Things like Kiki combos often require like garbage pieces to work with a combo, but exchange of words is just a good card on its own. So if you draw into like exchange before like a Kiki combo, then you're still like set. You're still fine. So I really, really like exchange of words, despite what like the forums say. You have Smother and Tithe. You've watched it. You've watched games. I'm sure you guys watch games on YouTube where the Marneus player is running his Smother and Tithe, and then just passively, like just like that, getting crazy value, crazy value. And so I said, wow, that's such good value. How can I maximize that value? And so your boy Tuna, you're seeing it here first. We'll run Smuggler Share. We'll run Monologue Tax. We don't care, right? If there's a chance that I can get a treasure and just get that passive value, right? Because we're playing the long game, right? So if I get a treasure and then the Marneus will trigger and I draw a card, I don't care. I don't care how bad Monologue Tax is and how overhyped Smuggler Share is. I'm all in. I'm all in. Once you see the type, how much value, passive value that gets with Marneus, then, which is the same reason why I like Ophiomancer in the deck, which is like why I like Bramaz and maybe a Monastery Mentor in this deck. Artifacts, very simple. We have a Wish Claw, Lotus Petal, Jewel Lotus. No, this is not where I'm going to divert my foil monolith funds for. We'll find out soon. Arcane Signet, Fellwar Stone. We got a foil Fellwar Stone, right? In the Warhammer Orc Secret Lair. It's hideous. It's like a football, but or rugby ball or something. I think it's just called the ball. But yeah, there it is. Our foil Fellwar Stone. Talisman of Dominance, Talisman of Progress, Mox, Chromox, Mox Opal, Mox Diamond, and of course a Mana Vault, Mana Crypt, and a Soul Ring. Our lands, simple lands. We have all 9 fetches. We have 1 island and 1 swamp. We have all 3 shocks. If you didn't guess already, I'm going to wait just a little bit for the Galaxy Foil shock lands to kind of tank a little bit. They were like overpriced when they launched, and I waited, and then the next day they like went up 25-30% in value. So I'm waiting for that to just fizzle down a little bit, and I'll probably pick up all 10 shocks Galaxy Foil with my Grim Monolith Fund. We have a Watergrave, a Hollow Fountain. Yeah, we have all 3 shocks. We have all 3 duels. We have the other duels, right? A Sea of Clouds and a Morphic Pool. For fast mana and utility, we have Ancient Tomb, Ganjo, and Atawada. And then wrapping things up, we have the Rainbow Lands. We have the Gemstone Cavern, Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Forbidden Orchard, Mana Confluence, and of course, a City of Brass. And there you have it. Marneus Calgar. Is he a Primarch? I don't know about Warhammer lore. I have a Warhammer sleeve in the back. Whoa, can you guys do that? Anyway, thanks so much, and ta-ta.